Zangpo.
ಶಿವನ್ನೇ
ಕಾಮ್ಡಿಮು
ಜಜಲಪ್ಪ
ಚಜಲು
ನಮಸ್ತೆ.
Hello and welcome to the Sikkim podcast brought to you by Summit Times. This is Chiring Eden
And I'm Tama Wangchuk.
and today is the 10th,
12.
sorry,
Oh my God, it's the 12th day.
12th day of the lockdown and we have only 8 more days to go. 8 more
Correct.
days or 9 more days? Like what
Yeah, you
is
wanted to do something light. So I guess exposing your weakness in maths is a nice way to begin.
yeah, I was like always bad at math.
Yeah,
Anyway, so how many days left to go?
9.
9 days left to go, and already there is a lot of speculation about possible extension of the lockdown. And
Yeah, but that speculation, I think, is fueled partly by media reports based on sources and a whole lot of chatter on WhatsApp forwards.
hmm, hmm.
Because, yeah, I mean, come on, and I hope not. I'm already drawing, those prison movies we used to watch as kids, in which they mark the days with these lines on the wall.
Yeah.
I'm almost at that stage, and that now there are so many lines that you can't even follow them. So
Uh, I am like mixed feelings because I'm not like that restless. There are only some times in the during the day that I get restless and I wish I could go out, like as in
mm,
go to town or whatever. But otherwise, like I mean, generally, most parts of the day, I'm fine. And I was talking to a friend today, and I was saying actually, I'm kind of like initially like the first few days, I think I got a little bit restless.
mm,
I said now I'm getting used to it, and now just as I'm like almost kind of enjoying being at
yeah.
home, this lockdown is going to end.
Maybe it is for people like you that they're planning to extend it since people are getting so used to it. No, I don't mind the lockdown so much. I mean, this is quite nice uh,
Mm.
to be by yourself and all those things. But the idea that you don't have a choice in it is what is
Yeah.
irritating, right?
Wait, like I think in the earlier previous podcast also I was saying that I'm not w- even you are not a very social person. Like I
Mm,
mean we don't really go out that much and all. I also don't go out a lot. And so it doesn't make such a big difference to
yeah,
us. But people who do like travel to Siliguri every other day or um,
yeah, or
yeah,
party.
party and like yeah, go to MG Marg every day, hang out
Discos
with
are a
friends.
no-no. I don't think discos are going to come back into business for another 2 months at least.
कैसे होगा नहीं हो भी
Yeah,
सकता है
maybe.
or no but yeah social distancing that is not possible there.
I'm not talking about the legal aspect of it. I mean, maybe the government will not give permission to these spaces yet, but even people who go there are also the people who soak in all the fake news in the world so much.
So judgmental you are, yeah.
I am, but I'm not wrong. I don't think I'm wrong in this.
No, I don't think so. I think people who like to party, like they must be like dying to, like they must have even
Yeah.
planned ki once the lockdown is gone, we'll do something like we'll
No, no,
if
and everybody should. Everybody should.
hmm.
Uh, I mean, like, not to exchange viruses, but generally, man, like, there must be so much catching up to do for normal people.
Yeah, but I don't think like that is going to happen. I mean, I don't think that is advisable. I think
Or maybe
people,
just come up with this thing that entries to a party come with a medical certificate saying that you are NCO free.
yeah, that's like not a very good joke.
It's not a joke. I'm serious. I, I will not be surprised if this government comes up with something like that. That
Oh,
from now on to move out in public and public transport, you need to have a medical certificate.
um,
I
there was
will not put it
some,
past them.
what was that thing? I missed that whole thing, that stamp thing.
Oh, no, no. Those stamp things to people who are kind of going into home quarantine were volunteering to. And in some states, they had made it mandatory that when
Yeah.
you go into self quarantine,
Hmm.
you get this indelible Inca stamp with uh,
Oh.
with your date, like till when you're supposed to be in, so that if you're seen outside and your date is still not over, you kind of
No,
can, or you're
oh,
breaking the
sorry,
law.
sorry. I was just like got reminded of something, and I should talk about it before I forget.
Yeah.
So we were talking earlier, before starting this podcast, we were thinking of doing something light because it's been like every time it's like so
Yeah.
serious, and we are like criticizing the
Cribbing.
government, cribbing about people, organize everything,
Yeah.
everyone and everything. So, anyway, so then we were thinking about what memes or something funny that we have come across in these past few weeks or even recently. So then I just remembered there was this video that
Mm,
someone had shared on Facebook. I
mm.
don't know how they did it. Maybe there's a filter, or I don't know if that's like a comedian who has done it. I don't even, you can't recognize because they've put this, oh, Snapchat, you have those filters, I think, in Snapchat and now Facebook Messenger also, or whatever. So the filter is, I think it's the same, I think it's the same fellow. So it's
Okay.
like this Skype call that between President Trump of the US and Modi ji.
Uh,
And so this guy has got a that क्या बोलते हैं सुपर इम्पोज क्या what do you call that face
okay. Yeah. Okay. Got it.
the face of
Superimposed. Yeah.
face
Front.
of yeah the main features whatever eyes
Uh,
nose and mouth of the people he's imitating
uh,
whatever caricaturing
this is not
so
a deep fake, right?
sorry.
This is not a deep fake thing. It's like an obviously
Yeah, yeah, obvious. No, no, not deep
doctor.
fake.
It's a
Not
joke.
at all. You can make out.
Okay.
It's just this. That's what I'm saying. The hair and everything is different. It's that
Oh,
guy's
okay.
hair and all that only. Kapde wapde
Uh,
bhi sabhi. Only
uh,
that little bit eyes, nose, and mouth is of the
oh,
President
that's
Trump
so
and
cool.
Modi, no?
Okay. Okay.
And voice and all is same. I think that also I don't know if it's part of the filter of that guy is so good at it.
Mimic
So
artists, they
so
do
they're
that.
doing this Skype talk to, and then this Modi ji is like, "Hi, so good to see you," and it's same tone and everything also. And
Uh,
then he's like, "So how's the quarter time, huh?" And President Trump is like, "Sorry, you mean quarantine?" It's like quarter time, yes. यहाँ पे मोदी बोल रहा है ना.
uh,
This guy's like, okay, you must, I'm sure that you mean quarantine. It's okay, it's going fine, whatever. And then, yeah, that was the only thing. There was one more thing I don't remember. I think this was like, it
this
was
is
done so well. That's why I found it funny.
yeah, because both these guys did bungle with names, right?
Oh, yeah. And then President Trump ka bhi hota hai. He says, like, oh, remember when, I have to meet that Tendulkar and Virat Kohli and what was that guy's name? Vivekamundun and all that. And then Modi is like, all right, I have to go now and all that. बोल के वो it
Goodbye,
was
Donald.
uh, oh ha, oh yeah, yeah, oh that was the one. He's like, so Donald, how are you? And Donald is like, sorry, that's not my name. Whatever, my name is Donald. You mean Donald? Ha ha, why same thing.
Yeah. No, but then, times like this,
Hmm,
I've always wondered how comedians can pull off jokes in what are so obviously kind of desolate times
yeah.
when, yeah, when like you got to be careful with the jokes you crack. But I think some pretty good humor has been coming out. Unfortunately, we are not in an environment in which people can take jokes, whether the people or the authorities. We've heard of these crackdowns and
Mm.
comedians. Look at what happened to Kunal Kamara, although he was not joking at that time. But
All right, I'm going to bore you with another funny video
yeah,
I saw.
Okay.
So this was like, so it goes with the theme of what you were talking about, how this
Yeah.
is not the right
Okay.
time and all that. So there's this, I think, I don't know, Scottish or British, weird British also. In Britain also you have so many accents, no?
Mm.
So this is like a very, yeah, one of those weirder
Difficult
accents,
accent.
difficult accents.
Not
So
weird. So politically incorrect.
all right, difficult. So
Uh,
difficult to understand, but not
uh,
so difficult also. But yeah, so this couple, I think the girl is pulling a prank on the boyfriend. No, not boyfriend, fiance, I think. So
Same thing.
same thing. So it's not the same thing. Anyway, so
Almost.
she's in her bedrooms. I guess she's taking the video, right? I think she's sitting on a bed, and the video is facing the doorway with door which
The
is
camera.
open.
Uh,
So then she's like calling out to her boyfriend, no, come fast and all that, no. And he's like, what happened? And he's like, no, no, just come, no. And he comes, and she's put this clear tape on the across the doorway, no. So his face gets like stuck on the tape.
uh,
It's not that funny, right? The prank. What is funny is what comes after that, no?
uh,
The the fiance just loses it, no? It's like how many times I'm going to call off the wedding if you are going to continue doing this. So it seems she's been doing this regularly, no? She's like every
same prank.
time. Yeah, he really gets serious, huh? He's like, if you're going to do this one more time, I'm going to call off the wedding. And this is, I can't take this anymore. I can't even go out because we cannot, there's a lockdown. And how do you think I can't tolerate this sitting in the same house as you. And like every other minute you're pulling a prank and like, he's like, उसको गुस्सा आ रहा है कि
It is a nice prank.
and the girl is laughing away, huh? And he's like, what are you laughing at? This is not funny and all that, no?
You are not going to post that on Facebook.
And she's like, it is funny, ah. And he's like, no, this is so irritating. And वो भी थोड़ा उसको भी हंसी आ रहा है, हाँ, थोड़ा थोड़ा. So she's like, you are also about to laugh. He's like, I'm not, because this prank was funny, but this whole thing is not funny. And
The situation is not.
इतना हंस उठा था मेरे को. It was like,
Yeah.
yeah.
People have to keep themselves entertained, I guess.
Yeah, and I just realized, like, I try so hard to control this, but like, I have this habit. A lot of people in our office also have this habit. I just said has utha. Okay.
Mm.
So this is a thing a lot of people who have worked in Sikkim now before also have. And I think this is because of boss. Everybody picks it up from the boss.
Yeah.
So we
Hindi.
speak Hindi Nepali mix. So
Oh, this is not a common phrase.
क्या?
This is not a commonly used phrase. This is a phrase that we kind of.
Yes, no one else uses it. Hello.
Yeah, I know. It used to be really funny. Remember how even people coming to our office to give press releases had started talking to us in Hindi?
Yeah. Yeah, they do. But no, Hindi is different. No,
Mm.
we talk in Hindi Nepali. I don't know what do you call it. How do you like Nepalish बोलते हैं हिंदी नेपाली मिक्स को चाहिँ क्या बोलेंगे?
Yeah, I don't know.
Anyway, like say कोचे क्या बोलेंगे? Like कोचे नहीं होता है हिंदी में. Anyway, so
Yeah.
so to the listeners, I hope they are not getting bored with our like so like
This is us going like kind of almost losing it.
almost losing
Losing
it.
it because we've
Like
been in
this is
like
just like
lockdown.
random chat whatever rambling, sorry. So you have like these funny terms that but I think you use this term, no, like a sentence that became famous like कौन खस गया है and all that.
Yeah, okay.
So in Nepali you would say को खस्नु भएछ, or somebody has passed away. So को खसेछ is that term that you
Yeah,
use. And then Mr. Pema Wangchuk says कौन खस गया है. So that's a mix of it. Sounds really
yeah,
funny,
true.
but like it's like dark humor.
Yeah.
Anyways, so getting back to our uh, podcast
Yes.
after that, like I think 20-minute digression is is
Digression, we didn't even get where we were supposed to get.
no
We didn't
we
even start.
but we did want to keep this light today, so
Okay.
so let me check if you're okay. We are at least still recording.
Oh, okay.
I thought maybe something. Anyway, so when was it? Yesterday.
Sunday, yeah.
Yeah, Sunday was the day when Modi ji had um, ordered the entire nation
Yeah.
to light diyas, to light
No, switch off
anything. Huh.
the car lights
Huh.
and
And
then light the others.
light diyas, candles, torches, phone bhi chalega, he had said, and
Mobile
all that
phones. Yeah.
at 9 p.m. for
For
9
9 minutes.
minutes.
In silence.
Did he say in
Yeah, you have
silence?
to be silent solidarity with each other.
But yeah,
And you could mumble your prayers, I guess, in your mind or whatever.
it was anything but silent. And so we dutifully, Sikkim also observed this 9 minutes, 9 p.m., 9 minutes, whatever. I have no idea
Yeah,
what it's
on the
supposed
5th
to
of
be.
April, which adds up to 9, 5, 4.
Yes, so not only did they light candles and diyas and chimis, I think butter lamps and all that also, but
Firecrackers.
firecrackers, and they continued. So they, what the public did is like they combined this with the previous order. So
Yeah.
previous में चे बोला था, you bang whatever you can find in
Tali
your
and
house,
Thali.
bang your head. People should have banged their head instead.
Mm.
Anyways, so they combined this time. So this time there was the lights and everything. There was the sound also, plus firecrackers
I heard Go
screaming.
Corona Go also.
No, no, it was like go Karuna, like that. There was somebody was screaming.
Yeah, that's how obedient children were.
Yeah, it was so exciting. Even my father was like, he had got a candle and he said, "Please light it, okay?" And I said, "No, I will not. You can like जायदाद से मेरे को बाहर निकाल देना, क्या बोलते हैं, दूर
Bedakal.
बेदखल कर देना, लेकिन I will not light that candle." Anyway, so the dogs, my dogs really had a bichara. They had a tough time because it
Yeah,
was
it
like
was like
Diwali.
pre-Diwali.
Yeah, I had to, middle of the night, I had to console my
9
dog.
o'clock is not the middle of the night.
It was not 9 o'clock. No, no, no. I'm saying that later, like she
Oh,
was so
traumatized.
traumatized that she was still,
God.
yeah,
Okay.
not like needed some reassuring, and only then she could go back to sleep. So that kind of thing, I'm sure a lot of other animals and also faced problems here last night because of
And
that.
there are so many animals around. Now even wildlife is into Gangtok, right?
Yeah, wildlife visited Gangtok recently,
Yeah.
and a, a bear visited the
Mm.
BSNL office.
Yeah.
And then today we had a deer visiting the SRM, opposite SRM. They were at
Yeah.
what? Tadung area.
Must have come for admissions.
And I was amazed. The deer was just next to the road.
Yeah.
I was like, I thought it was like thoda piche, somewhere in the jungle area types, but it was just
SRM is
like,
right on the road. Yeah.
but then there is no, not, no, almost no traffic. I guess that's why,
Yeah.
no?
Mm.
Yeah. So I am also very scared nowadays कि भालू आ जाएगा, पता नहीं रात को when my dog start barking, I'm like, कुछ आ गया
Yeah.
होगा.
Yeah. Must be coming on. I mean, deer and also, I'm sure, coming to your area quite a lot.
And so we were also going to talk about, I
No,
would,
but this 9 o'clock thing, no?
hmm,
Really. If these are like spontaneous, if they are spontaneous, like civic bodies or NGOs and all that they give out this appeal. When it comes from the top, this order thing, no, it's like kind of worrying, yeah.
hmm. No, and what is surprising is that you have the freedom to not do it, right?
Yeah, and
And
many people must not have done it also.
yeah,
But the pressure of neighbors, right?
No, no, but I think I'm becoming too serious. I think it's just that like everybody's like bored at home, so this was
Yeah.
like
It
some
let
kind
off
of
some steam. In that sense, it was pretty good.
yeah, yeah.
Like something to keep people excited throughout the Sunday, no? Collecting candles. There were
I
people who
know.
were making candles for others, people who were
Yeah.
sponsoring candles for others.
And where was it? Jaipur में? नहीं, where was it?
आग लग गया था
आग
जयपुर.
लग गया यार firecrackers से. So
Sorry,
that is a very, very scary thing that you did just now.
dry cough, I know.
So I was going to say, yeah, नहीं ठीक है. Eh, like something to entertain, I guess. For
No, no, I
at
think
that kind of
if
level,
that
it's
was the
fine.
idea, it's very good.
Hmm.
If the idea was that people must be getting, with so many people with nothing to do, some nothing to
Hmm.
look forward to, this 9 o'clock thing is like, it got people talking about it till it happened, right? Everyone was talking about how great this is and how wonderful the timing is and how significant it is to the Hindu uh, numerology or whatever.
Hmm.
And then after that, everyone was talking about, oh, did you light a candle yesterday? I did, and it felt so good and things like that, I guess. I don't know. Maybe it had some psychological benefits for people who believed in it.
Yeah, but these are like,
And for us, who kept joking about it
yeah.
and cribbing about it also.
Hmm.
So yeah, it served its purpose in a way. It didn't, unfortunately, sorry to tell you, kill the virus.
Why are you sorry to tell me?
Not tell
I'm.
you, tell the listeners.
Oh, okay, okay.
I'm sure all of them agree with us, but yeah, it
Yeah.
didn't do anything to the virus.
Oh God, I don't even know what to say, about this whole thing. It's
It is
no, but what
what
this
it is.
when the Prime Minister asked the nation to do this, the problem
Mm.
was that he did not talk about the more important things that the nation should know, right? Because
Yeah,
this happened a week back, maybe, no, a few days. When
yeah,
I'm losing track of, no,
yeah.
I'm not like losing track of time, but
Calendar don't carry any meaning anymore. When you're in lockdown, you suddenly realize it doesn't matter what date it is, except when you're copy editing stories, like you need to figure out like, okay, it's a certain date has to be mentioned. But in a lockdown, do you realize like the calendar doesn't matter. The
yeah,
watch becomes important because at 4 o'clock all the shops will shut down.
yeah.
So in that sense, the ghadi becomes important.
But the
But
day,
date,
yeah, you don't know Sunday,
day,
Monday, Tuesday,
date,
whatever. Mm,
date, pointless.
yeah. So I was saying, yeah. So that was the whole anger against this request of the prime minister was that, right? So fine, this is like अगर बोलोगे भी तो this is fine. Like if you on the side, if you just want to, get people to do something and have fun and whatever, this is fine. But then you address the important issues also. What he that in his speech he did not address people. He did not tell people how the government is going to uh, help the migrant workers, how the underprivileged are going to survive the lockdown, what are the plans for the country economically, and all those other important things. None of it he addressed. He just talked about how this is going to be such a great night from 9 p.m. to 9 p.m. It's
Yeah.
$99. And I have no idea what I'm
But that's
saying.
that's what we do with children, right? I
Hmm.
mean, we tell them
हाँ जाओ
bedtime
खेलो
stories about
हाँ
fairies and
हाँ हाँ
princesses and whatever, and they lap up the story and
yeah
more
you
life lessons. That's
yeah
अब बच्चे
yeah
लोग को तो ऐसे ट्रीट करना है ना.
लोग भी बच्चे लोग के जैसे बिहेव करते हैं ना अब क्या करें अब बोलते
Yeah,
बोल
that's
दिया
what that is exactly what I was saying. So
Hmm. So even about the I think the famous meme about the this what the candle thing was.
Hmm.
कि life has become like big boss now and big boss आते हैं आदेश देके चले
हफ्ते
जाते
में
हैं.
हफ्ते में एक बार
हाँ
आते हैं,
हाँ
टास्क
हाँ.
टास्क देके
ये
चले जाते
टास्क
हैं.
देके चले जाते हैं.
Yeah.
And I was thinking it, yeah, that not it.
So we are in a
Yeah,
reality. All of us are trapped in a reality show now.
it is so apt. Yeah, it is Big Boss, and probably they are even watching us and listening to us like Big Boss, right?
I know.
So,
Yeah.
Lil, and moving on to an even lighter thing is how people in across the world maybe
Mhm.
have become such good cooks now,
Hmm.
and everybody's posting photos of and videos of what they have cooked and like so now there's a term I think that is being used. I'm not sure. I just came across it once or twice. Quarantine chef.
Okay.
So
Yeah,
like,
makes sense.
so
At least
everybody's like,
something good came out of it.
huh? People are, yeah.
Eating healthier, I'm sure.
I don't. Yeah, yeah, definitely
Some
because
people,
you don't get
most
खा
people.
बाहर का खाना तो है ही नहीं.
Hmm.
Yeah, I've been missing samosa. I've been.
I've been missing momos. Like I
Yeah.
was craving momos and Mallika chicken rice.
You know, you don't get Malay. Yeah, how will
Oh,
it be? But
anywhere on the highway, he
yeah,
can be chicken rice. Yeah.
God, today I was, and my cousin was pointing me towards, I had to samosa, and she pointed this irritating packet wala, that masala wala samosa,
Oh,
those small
yeah, that's
tiny
not so.
masalas.
Yeah.
Yeah. And talking about things that you are craving and but you cannot have, people with alcohol addiction, and even if you're not addicted, like you have a peg a day or two pegs a day, that's not really
Yeah.
addiction, I guess. Or maybe it is, I don't know. No, if you have even have a peg a day, it's like addiction, right?
I mean, if you require it uh, at a particular time on a regular basis, I guess that qualifies.
Yeah, like so, which is like so for them, this has become a very difficult time because all the liquor shops have been shut and
Supposedly.
supposedly क्या होता है?
But we know that if you're a regular at a particular shop, they will kind
Huh,
of
that is there, but they
provide
are
you.
like
And I think they're doing a service. Huh? I think they're doing a public service
of course.
because it, like states like Kerala, Punjab, and Kerala at one time had decided to keep the liquor shops open,
Hmm.
and then for some reason they decided to shut it down. And now Kerala, because after some suicides, which is like unfortunate, among alcoholics, decided that people who can come with a doctor's prescription can buy liquor. And I
I
personally
don't.
feel that liquor
Hmm.
shops, because Sikkim has so many, right?
Hmm.
You have one, or you have at least three in every neighborhood. If they had allowed liquor shops to remain open, the lockdown would not have been broken any worse than the essential commodities, ration
No.
shops. I think we have more liquor shops than ration shops. So people would not have to venture too far away from home to get their regular quota.
Hmm.
And but when you shut them down, and if these people, and of course, if you are an alcoholic, I don't think you're very good at planning things. They would be running out, and then in desperation, they'll be breaking the lockdown even more,
Yeah.
calling up friends, calling in favors, finding out kahan pe bik raha hai and all that,
Hmm.
uh, and then excise department came out with this circular saying uh, they've received public complaints about some liquor shops that are still opening and selling.
Hmm.
And also, they've heard that people are pressurizing some liquor shops to sell
Sell.
them, and which I found, what is the word for
Amusing.
tragic and comic, tragicomic,
Yeah.
whatever.
Tragicomic. Hmm.
Yeah, because really, someone should have thought of that. What would an alcoholic do, or what would even people who do not see themselves as alcoholics, but like their
Yeah.
couple of pegs every evening do if they run out? You're just kind of giving them one more reason to break the lockdown that you're so keen to enforce.
Yeah, they might call up someone who has, and they'll just go
Yeah.
to that person's. Anyway,
Uh,
no, it. I just, yeah.
so I think they just, this is just one more pointless thing that they need to police. It's not as if the liquor shops were open, they would like be crowded with people and
No,
the
you can.
lockdown would be broken and things like that. It's almost
You,
like medication in some, in some cases, I think.
you can arrange home delivery.
Yeah, yeah, that could have been done.
Hmm.
But anyway, so that's not happening.
So then this week you also had the certain borders, certain areas that uh, um, are
Bordering Kalimpong,
bordering Kalimpong. Yeah, bordering Kalimpong, and there was West Bengal. Sorry, West Sikkim. In West Sikkim also you were saying no,
the border with Nepal, they're
with
planning to
border
put
with Nepal.
something.
Yeah,
That's
so
a huge
certain,
border. They can't censor.
let's say fluid borders. What
Mm.
do you call it? Something
Porous.
like that. Porous.
Mm. Fluid
Porous.
border is one that changes constantly.
Okay.
Hopefully, it is not that.
No, no, this is, yeah, porous borders supposedly, which is like just in, I think, Haticheri in Rinok, East Sikkim.
Hmm.
So there's just a stream, let's say, Khulcha जैसे
Mm.
बोलते हैं, like a culvert that is like the border, and across
Hmm.
that culvert is the uh, Kalimpong area,
Yeah.
Pedong area, and then this
Mm.
side is Sikkim. So people were worried that, I mean, they usually use come walk across to Pedong and vice versa. They usually on foot only you can cross, it seems.
Hmm.
So then some people said this is very worrying, and then the government uh, intervened and they put up barbed wires there in along the culvert, I think.
Okay. As if that's
And
the only point. You cannot like walk 10 meters away and come over.
अब वो बाप वार भी काट के भी तो आ सकते हो, क्या है
No, no,
यार.
it's not desperate to go, guys. No, these barbed wires are bad.
Okay.
No, but what makes them think that, first of all, what makes people think that all of Kalimpong is infected?
Mm.
Right? You had one family that had the virus.
Mm.
So it's not as if all of Kalimpong is infected. And second, it is not as if they are like infected and trying to infect Sikkim, that they want to come over. Like this paranoia is distressing. Like this belief that all, and that person who unfortunately passed away,
Mm.
that woman, is from Kalimpong, but she did not live in From what I know, she was not in Kalimpong uh, through the duration when she had the virus. She flew in from Chennai to Bagdogra and was in Malbazar
Mm.
when she detected that when she was in quarantine, I think,
Mm.
and then she developed the symptoms and unfortunately passed away. And her family members also have tested positive since then, and they were all down there in Malbazar with her. So it's not as if like
They were in
ये तो
Kalimpong, yeah.
permanent address वाली बात हो गई ना. Like if let's say for instance like I have my permanent address in Gangtok, but I am in Delhi where I contract the virus and then I fall sick there and pass away. Just because I'm from Sikkim doesn't mean that Sikkim has the virus. No, I got it
Yes.
somewhere else. I did not come back to the state, so why should the state be worried? Why should, for instance, my neighbors here suddenly uh, start sanitizing my flat? Like it's just, I don't know. There's some level of, but of course, this whole,
No, it is the fear, no, that is there.
yeah, it is the
Mm.
fear, but you have to address these fears and allay them so that people don't make excessive demands. Like,
Mm.
where do you draw the line?
Mm.
No?
Mm.
Now they see a foreigner and immediately they'll be like reporting him to the police and saying, "ये पक्का इटली का होगा, इसको arrest करो." Right?
Yeah.
Or
Mm.
that is, so where do you kind of, if you do not address the people's fear and keep them within rational limits, you are creating a situation where something worse could happen, na?
Hmm.
How would that reflect on us?
Oh, yeah.
It's like what is happening outside with chinky people, right?
Hmm.
Corona, Corona, bolte like they're being targeted.
No, that is always यहाँ पे here we've talked about
Ostracized.
it also how people of Sikkim are also discriminatory against the plains people, right? So
Yeah.
and then when you are discriminated against outside the state, then you are like making so much noise, but then you do the same thing when you're here.
Mm.
It's hypocrisy.
Yeah, neither of which is right, right? One doesn't cancel out the other. Both
Yeah,
are
yeah,
wrong. And the focus really should be on addressing these issues. And this is not how the administration has been responding to it. Is I don't think the ideal way to respond either. You do not fan these fears, hoping that that will keep people safe.
yeah. But let's not get all serious now.
Yes, on the positive note, an entire Indian Air Force cargo helicopter load of medical equipment has arrived in the state. I think that's so wonderful for the health workers.
Yep,
I was getting really worried for them that
I know.
because clearly they were not enough protective, whatever they might say.
Hmm.
Why would Sikkim have a whole stack of protective equipment for doctors, right? It has
Hmm.
never faced such a situation.
Yep.
So now that it has arrived, I hope it is being put to good use. I hope doctors are being told by their seniors. I hope it's kind of in the kind of required things to do to keep themselves safe
I'm sure
when
they.
when they're attending to patients and things like that. Sikkim has
Hmm.
not had any positive cases so far, which is good.
Hmm.
But the health workers, I'm like,
Yeah,
at
yeah,
the end of the day, they are going to they are the ones attending to the patients in quarantine and things like that. So
yeah.
that's good.
That is extremely good, and hopefully, um they like there is for now we haven't got any positive cases, so there is ज़्यादा use भी नहीं है ना for
Mm,
PPEs, but
mm.
at the same time, I hope it is it is not just it is used judiciously and where it is needed.
No, I hope it's used like blanket.
No, no,
Like
I'm
use it
saying
even when it's like health workers should when they arrive to work should just get into these uniforms. Otherwise, very soon we'll have like people like kind of buying it in black and like going shopping wearing them.
no, that's what I'm saying. I hope it is like it's not like again. I should not be making such allegations, but people know about this. I guess a lot of people. Government में क्या होता है? Government में सामान आता है, they take it home, right?
Yeah, but this is not
So
something you can go out wearing really.
no, 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 not wearing, but masks and all those things.
Yeah,
I hope they make
there's a
sure that
proper
it is,
inventory,
yeah, inventory, and they make sure
and
that
it
it
goes to
is,
the doctors. If
yeah,
anyone
it
has to
goes only
misuse
to
it,
the,
let them
not
do
just
it.
the doctors, nurses,
No, there's I
guards,
mean the health
whatever,
workers.
all the
Yeah,
health workers,
yeah.
workers, it should go to them.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think that's it for today. Would
So
it be?
sudden.
Yeah, yeah,
No
because
big announcement. What do you want our listeners to do tomorrow?
oh,
Yeah. Okay.
I want you to strictly follow quarantine rules and um, no,
Except when you don't feel like.
except when you
Don't feel like.
except when you
Strictly
don't feel like.
following the quarter time rules.
No, and then I had read this someone had shared again this post like this is like if you are really a loser.
Mm.
I mean, not that was not what they had written, but that's
Mm.
quite a bad word to use, but something like that. Okay, so you're not like of no good if you don't come out of this lockdown with a new skill, with uh, with a side hustle all planned out,
Mm.
or something else. I don't forgot the third
Yeah. Then
point.
आपका कुछ नहीं हो सकता.
Or a good cook, I guess maybe the third point should be come out of
Yeah.
it. So. Yeah, so on that positive, not so positive, but can be positive note, like get a new skill, online courses, so many things
Yeah.
are available, and or yeah,
Or become a good, what are they called? Meditators?
meditators.
Advanced, become like pick up advanced skills of meditation.
Yeah. And in fitness also, I think it's a good time, no? Because can't complain of not having time to exercise, which I have absolutely had no time for.
Yeah.
No, but I'm doing housework, so that is like exercise for me. Like I have been able to now, like I have to think every day. Earlier, I wouldn't get time to do my gardening and attend to my plants and all that. Now I'm like, shit, I have done everything. Like what? What else? There is nothing left to do.
They're being lavished with too much attention now.
Yeah. So no, but tomorrow I am going to clean my greenhouse, which is like, yeah, it's a task that
Literally
I've been
green.
it's yeah, literally green. So so we should, yeah, get working, get
Yeah.
fit, and what skill have you picked up?
What skill have I picked up? Ah, I don't know. I think I'm even losing the few skills that I might have had before the lockdown began. So yeah, I've not really put them to any use. Put this time to any use.
You know, if they are going to, okay, I don't know why I'm extending this. We should stop now. If
Yeah.
they if they're going to, extend the lockdown, they should not give any breaks in between.
खत्म करो like
Like because if you give a agar if they give a break, no, then it will be so
difficult to
sad.
get back to it.
Yeah, to go back to lockdown. So don't like just go keep on like let it go on like this. That's why go last message of this
Yeah.
podcast. And please, you can always, even from your homes, write to us at news@summittimes.com.
Yes, and now you have
Uh,
the time to write long letters.
yeah, long, long letters you can write about some things that you hated, things that you like, things of what you tell us what you are doing during the quarantine, and we will talk
Yeah,
about
that'll
it.
be interesting to know
Yeah,
about.
yeah, like yeah, and or you have what you have not been doing even after being locked up in your house,
Yeah.
and you can, yeah, YouTube is not happening. I'll again try tomorrow. It's like taking forever. I've gone around my house trying to find place where
Better
there
signal.
better signal. There is no place in the house where I get good signal good enough to upload video. So yeah, it will just go up on the podcast platforms. And do you have any message?
I had something, but then I forgot. So we have more podcasts to do in the future, so maybe.
Yeah, yeah, we'll come back again. All
Yeah.
right. Thank you so much.
Yep. Thanks for listening.